What up? It's your boy Wall Street, and I'm back. Can't keep me away from this mic. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you that's watching right now. And if you haven't, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because I got way more on the way, and we're going to have a great time. So lock in. Today, we want to talk about Russell Westbrook, a.k.a. Brody, a.k.a. Mr. Triple Double, a.k.a. Russ, a.k.a. Beast, all that. This dude is one of my favorite players that has ever played in the NBA. And right now, he is currently without a team. So he declined his player option that was worth, I think, like $3.5 million with the Denver Nuggets. $3.4 million to be exact. Sorry about that. So he declined his option, which now makes him an unrestricted free agent. And there's been some rumors here and there about what team he's going to sign with. For a while, people were saying the Sacramento Kings. I didn't really understand that. I think those talks have kind of stalled or diminished to some extent. So there's kind of some uncertainty as to where Russell Westbrook will find himself for his 18th NBA season. Obviously he's entering like the twilight years of his career. I think he's played for like 5 different teams in the last 6 years. So he's kind of been on a rainbow tour a little bit, trying out different jerseys for different squads. And I think he needs to find a place where he's going to spend the next 2 years, right? And that deal is probably going to be structured as a, 1 year guaranteed with the player option for the second year, or maybe a team option. I don't know. And it's definitely not about the money. He's made nearly like $350 million in NBA contracts since he got drafted in the league in 2008. So there's a couple of options that I think make a lot of sense for Russell Westbrook. And let's talk about him, because I think the number one option that I've thought about, which would just be awesome, especially now that we've seen Damian Lillard go back to the Portland Trail Blazers, have his homecoming. I think it makes a lot of sense for Russell Westbrook to go back to Oklahoma City, because not only have the fans there not forgotten about Russell Westbrook and everything he's done for that city and that franchise, I think it would be a great time for him to go back. The Thunder just won the championship. They just locked down, their main 3 guys for the next, several seasons in Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They all signed massive extensions. So Russell Westbrook, I think, would come to this team. He'd be a fan favorite. Obviously, he's going to come off the bench. Their bench is already pretty loaded, not going to lie. And now they have Nikola Topic also coming back. He's been playing in Summer League, but he was the 12th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft, missed his entire rookie season. And, there's a question as to whether or not the Thunder would want to do this, but I think, if Russell Westbrook approached them and was like, I want to come back to OKC and help you guys repeat as champions, like, who's going to tell him no? Sam Presti is not going to tell him no. I think Sam Presti would welcome the opportunity to bring Russell Westbrook back to Oklahoma City. So that would be the thing, I think, for him to do. If he wants to prioritize being on a winning team, kind of fading out his career in a winning culture and doing a homecoming, I think that's the best spot, right? The other option I think that makes sense is the Boston Celtics, because the Boston Celtics are obviously going through a little bit of a retooling. There's been rumors that Jaylen Brown's going to get traded. There's, obviously Jason Tatum is injured. He's going to be out the entire next season. And I think this leaves room for Russell Westbrook to come there for a year, play a decent amount of minutes, probably get a decent amount of starts as well, and, show what he can do. And maybe that gives him the ability to get another contract from the Celtics or another team. But I would think if he's going to do that, he would probably want to go there for 2 years, finish out his career there, and, play this next season without Jason Tatum. Maybe Jaylen Brown stays, maybe he doesn't. And then when Tatum comes back in 2026 to 27 season, they make a run at the championship, right? Because I think the East is going to be a lot easier for Russell Westbrook to get a ring as opposed to the Western Conference, right? That's why I'm like, if you want to get a ring, it's either you're going to OKC or you're going to a team in the East that has the potential, right? The other one that people have mentioned is the New York Knicks. I think that also makes sense because the Knicks did not have as much depth as they really needed going down the line in the playoffs. And that's kind of what I think exposed them, even in the early series, like against the Pistons, but most definitely with the Indiana Pacers, that was exposed. So I think the Knicks, the Celtics, or the Oklahoma City Thunder, those are really the true options, right? And I think Russ's family is in LA, similar to the situation that Chris Paul has where, he's not necessarily right around his family all the time because he's been moving around so much the past couple of years. I think that's why Sacramento appealed to him. But if you guys live in California or you know about California, Sacramento is not like some easy drive, from LA. Like it's still a couple of hours, right? It's close enough, but it's not that close in the grand scheme of things. So I also think Sacramento is I have no idea what they're doing. I don't know what their plan is, how they're structuring their team. It doesn't make a lot of sense. They're like a B-list Clippers at this point, right? And I love Domantas Sabonis. I'm a big fan. I like DeMar DeRozan. I like Zach LaVine, but that team is not built to win at this point in time, and they're also not built to lose. So you're kind of just stuck in NBA purgatory where you're not good and you're not bad enough to really get a high pick, so you're kind of screwed, right, for lack of a better term. So I would say for Russ, I would love to see him go back to OKC. I think that would be my number one choice for him. And then I think Boston and the New York Knicks are also great options. I think he can provide veteran leadership. He can provide energy, whether it's in the starting lineup or off the bench. That dude plays harder than anyone else I've ever seen in the league. And, that's just what it is. So that's all I got, guys. Let me know what you think about Russell Westbrook and where he should be signing for this upcoming season. Want to know your thoughts. So please leave some comments down below. I'm going to check you guys later. Stay up, stay blessed, stay safe, stay humble, handle business, stand on business. Peace out.